Okay, thank you for being with us today for Great American Smokeout. We are lifting up someone who is a champion for quitting smoking. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do here at Tapestry Charter?
Sure. My name is Llano Lambrix, and I am the 10th grade English teacher and also the 10th grade team leader here at Tapestry Charter School.
Great. And so what age did you begin smoking and why, in your own words?
Well, I started smoking at 15 years old to rebel against my parents. I got in trouble at home, and I pilfered 3 cigarettes from my stepdad's pack and went to my friend's house and smoked them in defiance because they weren't the boss of me and they weren't going to tell me what to do.
Rebel.
I was a terrible rebel, yes. And that led to, those 3 cigarettes led to experimenting with different brands of cigarettes. They were Lucky unfiltered cigarettes.
Ooh.
So they were really gross. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, you should try menthol. They taste good." And
yeah.
that's exactly what I did.
Like cooler.
Yep. And I immediately got hooked.
Gotcha. So it was just a small thing at 15 years old. I'm going to do this, and then started experimenting more.
Yep.
Happens really quickly. So I guess how long did you smoke, and then why did you end up quitting, and then how hard was that for you?
Well, I smoked for almost 20 years. I had a 2-pack a day habit. I smoked at home, in the house. I smoked at work. I smoked in the car. Yep. The laws were different those days. The environments were different those days. It was more socially acceptable. And I wound up quitting at 35 years old. I had 4 people within my immediate family and friend circle be diagnosed with emphysema within a few months of each other. And one was so severe that they had to start wearing an oxygen mask. And the very thought of not being able to breathe was horrifying to me. I had no bad symptoms. I didn't have a cough. I didn't have a wheeze. My blood pressure was great. I was outwardly extremely healthy. I wasn't suffering any ill effects, even with a very heavy smoking habit. Wow. But I am a little bit claustrophobic, and so I don't even wear like a scarf in a snowstorm. I don't like anything on my face. The idea of having to wear an oxygen mask horrified me, and so I was determined to quit. It was actually my 3rd attempt at quitting. My first 2 attempts were complete and utter failures. I lasted about 2 hours in my first attempt. I lasted about 10 hours in my 2nd attempt before my husband was literally throwing cigarettes at me and
oh my gosh,
me,
like please do this.
Please have a cigarette. I was so miserable and crabby. He was like, please.
Well, because the nicotine is just so addictive.
Yep. The quitting was the absolute hardest thing I ever did. I would rather give birth to 14 more children with no medication than ever go through it again. The withdrawal symptoms, not only was I irritable, and irritable is being very kind, I was a raving lunatic. It kind of felt like there were animals clawing at the inside of my skin. It was the most physically challenging thing I've ever been to in my entire life, and I've been through a lot of challenging things.
Yes.
And so I was successful. I used the patch to quit.
Fabulous.
It took me 3 weeks, and I was just ready. I was determined. Laws had changed. It was harder to smoke. Smoking outside was very unpleasant, and my life was shifting in a new direction. I was starting a new career, and I didn't want to bring those old bad habits into a new life.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That is incredible. You are such an inspiration for so many, because 7 out of 10 smokers actually wish they were not smokers. So that's...
Right. Again, I had tried to quit for a couple of times, and there's still, I'm now 11 years done and quit, and there's still times where I crave a cigarette. It's extremely difficult not to snatch up that cigarette when things get tough.
Right, absolutely. And has this had an impact on why you're an advisor for Reality Check here at Tapestry?
Absolutely. I remember when I was 15, it was so easy to start smoking, and it was such a dumb reason because I was mad at my parents, right? What was that? I was going to show them. And I know that many of our students go through this exact same situation. They don't like what they're being told. They don't like getting in trouble. It's a good way to get back at those authority figures. And it hurts nobody but themselves. But they don't recognize that yet. And so if I can put my story out there and show them how they could potentially be setting themselves up for a lifetime of health issues and a lifetime of addiction and, I mean, the exorbitant costs, well, then it's worth every minute.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your service, for your time, and congrats. We will lift you up on Thursday, which is Great American Smokeout.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela.